All right, Cody. So you've made over $400,000 the last month. You're number two on the school games leaderboard, and you've got there not by teaching people how to bet on sports, but by teaching people how to teach other people bet on sports.
You can make money betting on sports, but you can make side hustle money. You're not going to make millions betting on sports like all these gurus say. The way that they make millions and the way that you can make millions if you're passionate towards sports is you need to start a sports betting TikTok page or Instagram page or YouTube page, and the money will just flow in. One, you can sell picks to people, and then two, you can get affiliate partnerships with all of these apps that people use to bet on sports, and they will pay you a ton of money to bring your traffic to them.
So you've got all these startups that are just like deep pockets with VC money, and they're just like throwing money to try to get new users. You can tap into that, is basically what I'm hearing you saying.
Yeah, you nailed it, man. You nailed it. And what's crazy is once you become a top affiliate, you become really good at it. Or what I'm doing is building an army of affiliates in my school group. You can either get an opportunity to invest in those companies early, or they'll give you incentives where you can get percentage points of these companies. And in the sports betting game and the daily fantasy sports game, these companies can get to the $1 billion valuation very quickly. Like it's one of the easier business models to scale to a billion too.
Wow. And what I love about your story, Cody, is that you're a successful creator and you've been able to do that without having like 10 million views on your videos, without having like 20 gazillion followers on Instagram. You're able to go really deep into a niche, pick up a few thousand views on your videos, and still be hugely successful. Tell me a little bit about that.
Yeah, it really just speaks to how lucrative this opportunity is. And that's something that I look at too. And it's really awesome because before this, a few years ago, I had a TikTok page that I was just putting everything into trying to get it to 1 million followers. And I got it up to like 980,000. And then once this took off, I switched to focusing on this. And every day I was just a slave to the algorithm. I just wanted to go viral every day because I needed to go viral to make a little bit of money. And I was getting millions of views for thousands of dollars. And now it's the opposite. I just get a couple thousand views and I make hundreds of thousands of dollars. And it's just because you have more leverage in this niche. When you pick a niche, it's incredibly important that you're passionate towards what you're making content about. But if your end goal is to make money, you need to find those high leverage niches. And if you make content around sports, you do not need a lot of views. Like one of my students, actually, it was crazy on our first Zoom call. He's like, yeah, I made my first $3,000. And I'm like, okay, you started a week ago. How many followers do you have? He's like, I have 180 followers. I'm like, this dude has 180 followers. He made 3 grand. I'm like, bro, these people need, it's funny. The offer is so crazy right now. I was brainstorming what price, because my offer is worth so much. But I put it at 197 bucks. I kind of threw that up there to give myself room to raise it if I needed. And I'm like, when I'm on that Zoom with him, I'm like, dude, this is like insane. Like people would think this is fake. Like people for sure would be like, bro, you can't make 3 grand off 180 followers.
Yeah,
But I'm
yeah.
like,
If he tells anyone in his life, they're gonna be like, "Nah, bro, you're lying. You did not spend, 197 bucks and just flip that in under a week with 180 followers."
because they'll be like, dude, I know so and so. They have 100,000 followers, and they're not even retired. They work a 9 to 5, and it's like, well, it just depends what niche you're in as far as how you turn it into money.
Yeah, it's interesting. Something that you really promote is that you can do this faceless as well. And there's an old Tim Ferriss line. He says something just like, everyone wants to be rich and famous, but just try being rich first, because sometimes being famous sucks. And your niche allows people to do that. They don't even have to show their faces and they can make it work for them.
Yeah, yeah, and that kind of came from my wife's an identical twin, and when I started doing 30K a month about 3 years ago, retired my wife, retired myself. So then we just lived off of this content. And her twin sister was still working. So, if you've been around identical twins, they're super close. And it really sucked that you had one twin that's working a 9 to 5, one that's out. So at Thanksgiving, I told her, I was like, look, you just got to copy what we're doing. Like, just copy it. And she's like, I've never watched sports. I don't know anything about it. And I was like, look, I'll show you how to research. And she's an English teacher, so she's good with writing, with copy. And I said, we basically have realized that it does work better this is one of the rare niches where it works better if you're a man. as opposed to female. You can still do well as a female. But what we did was we did a faceless account. She's doing everything. And then her husband would just read the script so that it was a man's voice. And that's like one of my best testimonies, my best case studies, because a lot of the objections that you run into, oh, I don't know how to bet on sports, or I don't want to be on camera. I'm like, hey, look at her story. Like she peaked at 15,000. She had a $15,000 month. And now she just works full time as my assistant. And there's something to learn there too, because although she could make a lot of money doing this content, she would get burned out eventually, and it's not her purpose in life. And she's not into sports like how a lot of people are. So I'm really open about telling people, like, look, you obviously can join the group. You know you better than I do, but if you love sports, this is the group for you. Like if that sounds like an ideal life to you, going to the big game, sitting in the front row seats, or watching on TV and doing that for a living, then my group is really for people like that.
Yeah. You talk a lot about the difference between achievement and fulfillment. Like, why does this get you up in the morning? Like, why have you found your sweet spot?
I've chased money on the internet for years, man. You know, you have like drop shipping and Shopify. I did retail arbitrage on eBay for years. And there's something sweet about making money on the internet, but ultimately you'll hit burnout and you'll get bored of it. Like, I was reselling shoes from the Nike outlet to eBay for years, and it was exciting, but it wasn't like this. Like for me, since I grew up playing sports and I love watching sports and it's been my number one hobby in life, like I love being able to try to predict who's going to do well and who's not, and studying the new rookies and try to predict which rookie's going to have a big season and which one's going to flop. Like there's always something new. And just because it's my number one interest, it makes it very easy, and it gives me, fulfillment because I'm doing something that I enjoy.
Big time, man. And I think school has just opened up that opportunity for so many people. Whereas, Sam and Alex Hormozy always say, it's like, whatever your passion is, whatever that little niche is that you just love, school is now finally given an opportunity for you to make money with it.
I've been scrolling through all of the different groups, and I've joined a couple groups. And I'm just addicted to it, not just as someone creating a group, but someone just being part of other groups. And I'll get the notification and I'll just listen in on their Zoom. And it's crazy because you can either launch your own school group or just become an affiliate. And I'm like, even though I might be spending $1,000 a month on different school groups, I'm making more than that. So it's just awesome. Like you're investing in yourself and you're being part of all these groups that have a paywall. So everyone's taking it serious in those. And this is like the greatest networking opportunity that I've ever seen. Like, if you've been on it, I've only been on school, dude, I've only been on school for like 4 days total. And it's like life-changing. It's crazy.
So how are you driving people to your paid community? Because you're like number 2 on the leaderboards right now. Like, and how do you plan to keep that up?
Yeah, I think for me, man, my offer is just by far the best offer. We've all seen digital products. We've been in the digital product space, and you see people talking about health and fitness. You see people talking about making money. And mine is in the making money category, but it's making money in such a unique way that you'll never see. It's like you're going to see a bunch of groups about drop shipping, about YouTube automation, about all those, things that we've heard over and over, and we see ads for them every day. When have you seen somebody teach you how to make a YouTube channel about fantasy football? Most people play in America. Pretty much everyone plays fantasy football when the NFL comes around in September. All you have to do is the same stuff you're already doing, read the magazines, make your game plan, but just make videos on it. And then you'll make 6 figures doing that. So I think my offer's just been the best. But as far as like pushing it out, I've just made everybody aware of it possible on my Instagram story. I have an Instagram post, Instagram DM, and then YouTube. And, I've abandoned TikTok the last year or two, but I might have to return an attempt to win the school games. I might have to get back on TikTok and start trying to go viral over there.
Yeah, man, anything to get to Las Vegas and spend a day with Hormozy, eh?
Yeah. For me, I'm trying to get first place, but I haven't even thought of not getting top 10. But yeah, I definitely can't finish outside the top 10. But I'm really trying to come in first. I think the school games will be a really cool competition where every month we'll all get to look at the leaderboard, and we'll get people will become on our radar that are solid entrepreneurs and leaders on the internet. The school games is just sick, and to be able to say that you won the first one, it will feel a lot better than saying you finished top 10 in the first one.
Yeah, and you'll go down in history. You know, it'll be like, you didn't just win the gold medal at the Olympics, you won the gold medal at the first Olympics.
Dude, it's crazy, man. It's a really fascinating thing. It's hard to comprehend what it will mean or what it will turn into, but I think it really can get big because over the last 10 years, entrepreneurship has in many ways surpassed. It's became like the ultimate competition. I feel like everybody has gotten dialed into entrepreneurship, and now we've turned entrepreneurship into a sport with the school games, and it's fun.
Yeah, big time. Last question, dude. You talk a lot about investing in yourself, and there's still a lot of obstacles I think that the general public has. Where do you see the future of school going, the future of this kind of pay to learn in the online space? Like, give us a little insight to your vision for the future.
Yeah, so my vision of society, and you already see it now, there's a huge wealth gap, and you just can't stop it now because there's going to be a percentage of society that fully understands, money will come and go. If you're willing to trade money for information, you'll get it back 100x. Those people will become so much more wealthy than the people that cling on to every dollar they make and get a 9 to 5 and save a couple $100 a month. And that model doesn't work. And we're just going to see a massive wealth gap, dude. And the only people I can relate to now at this stage in the game are the people that are like me that have recognized that and are willing to throw down 10 grand to go to a mastermind and things like that, because we know that it's like the best use of money possible is spend 10 grand on a mastermind, and then you'll get an idea that you make 100K a month off of, as opposed to putting 10 grand into a stock and hoping it gets to 11 grand in a year.
Yeah, or throwing 10K into a year of college and hoping that it's somehow going to turn into money.
Yes. Yeah. So people on Skool, where's this interview going to be posted? On Skool?
Yeah, Skool, YouTube, Spotify, the works.
Everywhere. There you go. People that watch this will get it, though. They know. But yeah, I mean, I think for me, I've been spending money on masterminds and private groups the last year I started. I was like, you know what? I really want to put this money to use. And just like Hormozy says, the SME 500, it's so true. And Hormozy and Dan Henry, those are the two guys that really have shaped the way I view all this stuff. So yeah, I'm just looking for more school groups, masterminds, things like that. And that's how I'm thinking, because I want to get to the $1 million a month level. And that's kind of what I'm shooting for.
I absolutely love the mentality of investing in yourself and how you see that actually is the only path of how you're going to get to that $1 million a month. So yeah, fair play.
Yeah, dude. Well, it's good to meet you, man. I'm freaking pumped. I'm glad that we got on this.
Thank you so much for your time. Super, super valuable for everyone who's going to be listening to this. And if you haven't started your Skool community yet, there's a link in the description. We'll also put a link to Cody's Skool group, and check it out if any of this has resonated with you. And we'll catch you again next time.